If a stranger watched your life for a week, would they say your days are aimed at what actually matters to you, or at just getting by, being constantly focused on fixing things, and then collapsing on the couch at the end of the day? In mid-season, where your attention goes, your energy, your health, and your future self all quietly follow. Welcome to Rooted Insights, a podcast for women in their second season of life who spent years caring for everyone else. Kids, partners, work, households, holding it all together while quietly putting your own needs on the back burner. If you now find yourself wondering, what's next for me? What do I really want for my life now? And how do I start prioritizing myself without dropping everything else? You're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelley, a health and well-being specialist and mind-body expert, and here we blend grounded, science-informed practices into everyday life so we can better support our hardworking nervous systems, emotional health, and authentic selves in this powerful mid-season of life. Today we're back with our second part of a three-part series on your inner power trio: intuition, intention, and imagination. In our last episode, we explored intuition as your inner yes, no, and not yet. Today we're going deeper into intention, not just as a vague wish, but as the way you aim your attention and energy day after day, and how that quietly shapes your brain, your body, and your life in mid-season. This episode weaves in some of the research from the intention experiment and other work on group intention, along with nervous system aware ways to use intention without turning it into yet another pressure. So take a slow inhale and a slightly longer exhale, and maybe ask yourself, what has my life been unintentionally aimed at lately, as we dive into the fascinating topic of intention. So I want to start with a simple question. If a stranger followed you around for a week and could see what your mind returns to over and over again, what would they say your life is consistently focused on? For one woman I worked with, let's call her Erin. She's in her mid-40s and a longtime go-to person at both home and at work, and her conscious intention was, I want to feel calmer and more present. That's what she wrote in her journal, and that's what she told herself each Sunday night. But if you watched where her attention actually went during the week, you'd see something very different. At 6 a.m., she's already thinking, ugh, how am I going to get through today? And mentally rehearsing everything that could possibly go wrong. Then on the drive to work, she's replaying yesterday's texts, emails, and various conversations and imagining the worst outcome. Then at night, after answering messages and finishing tasks, she scrolls social media and compares herself to people who seem more fit, more accomplished, and more together. In quiet moments, her mind drifts to, I never do enough, or what's wrong with me, or I'm falling behind. I should already have this figured out. Now, she isn't trying to aim her life at exhaustion, anxiety, and self-doubt, but functionally, her daily intentions, that is the thoughts she's rehearsing, are something like, just get through, don't forget, push forward, fix everything for everyone else. And her nervous system, her hormones, and her choices all follow that focus and directive. Intention in this sense isn't just what you write on a vision board or in your journal, it's what you repeatedly point your attention to day after day. Today, we're going to look at how to work with that reality in a way that's grounded in science and kind to your mid-season body. At its core, intention is directed attention plus emotion. In other words, a chosen focus infused with meaning. It's not magic thinking, and it's not about blaming yourself for everything that happens. It's about how your inner focus influences your physiology, your behavior, and potentially your interactions and the world around you. Neuroscience shows that what you repeatedly attend to or focus on literally reshapes your brain. Intentional focus strengthens the neural pathways we use most. You may have heard the popularized phrase, neurons that fire together wire together. When you repeatedly focus on certain thoughts or images, your brain treats them as practice. Mental rehearsal activates many of the same circuits as doing the thing in real life. So rehearsing worst-case scenarios over and over actually trains your brain and body to expect danger, triggering stress responses even when you're safe. Choosing to consistently return to grounded, values-aligned intentions trains your brain and body instead to notice opportunities to live them and makes those patterns easier over time. Think of it like breaking a bad habit and consciously choosing a new one. It probably won't happen overnight, but with repeated practice, it becomes your new norm. Think about the habit of biting your nails. You can decide you no longer want to bite them, but if you've been doing it for a while, it will take conscious effort and dedicated focus to break that habit and create a new one. Your intentions are no different. In the book The Intention Experiment and the Power of Eight, researcher Lynn McTaggart brings another layer to this. What happens when groups of people focus intention on a specific target? Across dozens of controlled experiments, her collaborations with scientists have reported that focus group intentions can influence subtle physical systems, changing properties of water, affecting plant growth, and in some studies, lowering violent crime trends in targeted areas compared to forecasts. The most fascinating finding is the mirror effect. People sending healing or peace intentions often experience improvements in their own lives, more peace, healed relationships, physical shifts, even when they were not the designated target. These studies are still exploring mechanisms and are not universally accepted, but they suggest that conscious, coherent intention, especially in groups, seems to have real effects, both outwardly and inwardly. For our purposes, you don't have to buy into every claim. The key takeaway is your focus affects your own brain and body, and your focus may also ripple outward more than we realize, especially when shared by others. So grab a mid-season friend or two and begin an intention experiment of your own. In earlier seasons of life, many of us ran on default intentions like you have to prove yourself, or keep everyone happy, or don't rock the boat, or just get it all done. These focused thoughts may have helped you survive and succeed as a younger woman, a worker, a partner, or a parent, but in midlife, they often quietly turn into cages, trapping you, especially when your nervous system is already tired and overtaxed. Brain and menopause research is increasingly suggesting that while there is a real brain fog period in menopause, there's also a postmenopausal restructuring, where women often gain cognitive resilience, emotional clarity, and creativity, a kind of midlife brain upgrade. If your brain is rearranging itself for this next chapter, updating your intentions, as in what you aim that brain at, then becomes particularly powerful. So instead of just keep up or don't fail or just keep going, intention in this season might sound more like protect my nervous system and health so I can enjoy my life, or move through the day with a calm, honest heart and place my well-being at the forefront, or use my energy on what really matters to me now, not what used to or what others expect me to. So let's make intention more concrete and nervous system friendly with a few suggested practices you can try. These are not about forcing outcomes or doing them exactly as I present them. They're about where you're repeatedly pointing your inner lens and making things work best for you where you are in this moment. Practice number 1, the morning intention sentence. So instead of starting the day with your inbox, social media, or the news, you can give your brain a simple, grounded target. Each morning, before you check your phone or do anything else, place your hand on your heart or your belly or both and take a few nice, deep, centering, waking breaths. Then ask yourself, how do I want to feel as I move through today? Maybe it's calm, clear, kind, steady, honest, spacious. See what word naturally arises. Then turn that into a short intention sentence. For example, today I move at the pace of calm. Or today I tell myself the truth kindly. Or today my energy goes where it truly matters for me. Write it on a sticky note, in your planner, or in your phone. Return to it briefly at transitions, like before work, before meetings, before meals, before going to the restroom. You can even set yourself gentle reminders to create this habit throughout the day. From a brain perspective, this is like setting your search filter for the day. Your mind will start to notice choices that align with that intended feeling and choices that don't, giving you more leverage to shift 5 to 10% at a time. Practice number 2, the 1-minute intention reset breath. When you notice yourself in autopilot survival mode, racing thoughts, shoulders up, shallow breath, doing 3 things at once, you just want to pause for a 60-second reset. Start by gently inhaling through your nose if that's comfortable for about 4 seconds. Then exhale slowly through your mouth a little longer for about 6 seconds. You're imagining you're breathing out the get through it script. Then ask yourself, what was I unintentionally aiming at just now? Maybe not failing or getting something perfect or just right instead of perfectly imperfect or good enough, or not upsetting anyone or trying to do it all. Then ask yourself, what's one small intention I'd rather focus on in this next block of time? Maybe it's stay connected to my body, or do one thing with more care, or be gentler and less rigid with something I'm trying to do. This doesn't fix everything, but it interrupts the old default intention and gives your nervous system a chance to align with a brand new, more aligned one. Practice number 3, the mini power of 8 style circle for you and your people. This is inspired by the intention experiment, where you can create a tiny group intention practice with friends, colleagues, or family. Once a week or once a month, if that's all that's available to your group, gather a small group together. This could be other mid-season women, work friends, or a virtual circle of online friends. Choose one person or situation to focus on that week or that month, a friend's health, a challenging environment, or a shared community issue. Then you want to spend 3 to 5 minutes together. Start with everyone closing their eyes to eliminate any distractions. Then you're going to take a few deep grounding breaths as a group. Then someone states a clear present tense intention. For example, we see so-and-so's nervous system supported and settled. Or we see this community as a place where everyone feels safe, respected, and healthy, or whatever feels most meaningful to the group. Everyone imagines that outcome vividly and with genuine care, using as many of the senses as possible to really solidify and empower the intention. Then you're going to close by briefly sharing any feelings or images or thoughts from the group about it. The published experiments in the book suggest 2 key things. Focus group intentions seem to influence their specific targets, and the senders often experience their own breakthroughs, more peace, healing, or clarity. You can think of it as mutual intention hygiene, aiming your attention together at something aligned with healing, kindness, and peace, instead of constantly at stressors, what-ifs, and fears. Practice number 4, decluttering shadow intentions. Intention isn't only about what you want, it's also about seeing what you've been unintentionally reinforcing. Once a week, take 5 to 10 minutes to really reflect on this. Make it a positive habit you're developing, and if possible, try to schedule it the same time and day each week, so your brain and nervous system become more attuned to this new routine. For example, maybe every Saturday or Sunday morning. You're going to begin by asking yourself, what have I been rehearsing in my mind this week? If that rehearsal were an intention, what would it be? For example, I always drop the ball, or my needs can wait, or it's too late for me, or I'm too old to change, or what's wrong with my body? What's wrong with me? Or I'll never get this right. If you come across any resistance to answering this question, you can try to rephrase it with, if I knew what my mind was primarily focused on this week, what would it be? And just allow for the answer to come. Then try to release any judgments around what it is and just allow the first thought to be the one you focus on, viewing it simply as information, not as further evidence of what's wrong with you. Remember, there's nothing wrong with you. You're in a new season of your life, and you're finding new ways to better support yourself. Understanding that as knowledge, any kind of knowledge, is your superpower. So then you want to write down 1 to 2 of those shadow intentions. Then for each, gently craft a more truthful, supportive version that your nervous system can accept. For example, try to move from, it's too late for me, to, this is a new season, and I'm allowed to start where I am. Or from, my needs can wait, to, my needs matter in this family and this life too. You're not forcing yourself to believe something unbelievable. You're updating internal scripts to something that's both kinder and more accurate. As you head into your week, you might carry these questions. What has my life quietly been focused on through my daily thoughts and attention? And what would change if my primary intention in this season was to support my nervous system and live honestly, rather than constantly focusing on proving something or pleasing someone? And what's one intention sentence I'm willing to try this week? Intention isn't about controlling what happens around you. It's about giving your brain and nervous system a clear direction, so your choices line up with the kind of life you actually want now. If you've realized your life has been unintentionally focused on getting through, don't mess up, you gotta fix everything, you're not alone. And it's not too late to shape your intentions differently. In our next and final episode of this series, we'll complete this inner power trio with imagination, not as fantasy or escapism, but as the way you rehearse new patterns in your brain and body so they become more available in real everyday life. If today's conversation helped you see your own intentions a bit more clearly and gave you hope that you can focus your energy differently in this season, I'd love for you to keep walking with me here on Rooted Insights. Follow, like, and subscribe, and share this episode with another mid-season woman. I'd love to hear from you. What's one old, default intention you're ready to retire? And what's one new, simple intention you're willing to experiment with this week? Share in the comments below. And in our next episode, we'll complete this series with imagination, looking at how your mind's eye isn't just fantasy, but a powerful rehearsal space that can help your midlife brain unlearn fear, shape new habits, and gently move toward the life you're craving. Remember, you are not behind. You're in a new season of your life, and you're allowed to aim your personal attention and energy in ways that actually fit who you are now. If you're already feeling the pull to play with intention and imagination more deeply, keep an eye out for my new course, Rooted Within, Intuition, Intention, and Imagination for Mid-Season. A supportive mini-course I'll be opening in the next few weeks to help you bring this series into your actual calendar, daily life, and body. We're here, rooting in together, one intention, one breath, one choice at a time. Until next time on Rooted Insights.